Hi everyone, I am Anonymous Traveler from Intellectual Exercise. Last time I discussed that synchronicity is one of the key elements of magic, and I explained that certain type of deviation can be used to trigger synchronicity. And I shared one technique of deviation to trigger synchronicity. And today, I will discuss another trigger of deviation to promote synchronicity and spiritual faculty development. This trigger is time manipulation, and I will also teach you one of the techniques to do this type of manipulation. But this trigger is more advanced and challenging than the previous one, and it requires patience. Like I explained in a previous video, we share a communal reality with other humans and creatures in this universe. Although this world itself is a great illusion, we are still bound and chained by it, and it is very difficult to wake up from these boundaries of communal reality. And one of the key elements of this mechanism of communal reality is time. Our awareness is always localized and narrow-sighted. What I meant by the word localized is our mind is always fixated on trivial and useless things and never really connected to a greater level of awareness. Let me use an example of electric circuit board. Our mind is always fixated on each point of a circuit board and do not see the entire structure or flow of the circuit board. Our feelings or thoughts are like various focal points, and we keep jumping among various focal points. But although we keep jumping among them, our awareness is always limited to each focal point per each moment, because moving from one focal point to another happens just way too fast. It is like we can always see only one tree at a time and never be able to see the entire forest. Or it's like we are trapped in a box at each moment. We cannot see outside of the box, and each focal point of feeling and thoughts are like various boxes, and we are experiencing our version of reality in various boxes, keep jumping from one box to another. So in a way, our normal awareness is always trapped in a box, and as a result, we are always narrow-sighted and cannot really see the mind's mechanism. So I used the word localization to describe our limited awareness, and unless one has been trained to a certain level, one cannot really see beyond this localization. In other words, one cannot see outside of the box without mental faculty development. And the time, plays a significant role in this localization. The jumping movement between one box to another happens so fast, and we are always struggling to keep up with this process. So time is always working against us in this context, since we cannot get enough time to fully observe each focal point without training and the mental faculty development. And another aspect of time is, it is one of the key components of our communal reality. It is one of the building blocks of this reality. If for whatever reason time stops, then one's reality is breaking down temporarily, and one can experience spiritual dimension for the time being. Many advanced meditators have this type of experience. One can experience infinity of space or even infinity of nothingness during this temporary disappearance of time. The reason for this mechanism is, when you disable one component of our communal reality temporarily, the communal reality stops temporarily. And in this case, time is the component that stops temporarily. And the time is much more complex than we normally think of. On certain situations, time can flow much slower than usual. The best example is a situation when we dream. Time moves slowly in our dream. For example, we can experience many hours in our dream, while only several minutes passed in a real world. This kind of thing happens because during deep sleep, we experience less time than those who are awake. And it has to do with decreased gravity of the world onto our mind during deep sleep. The gravity of this world is closely connected to the movement of time. When the gravity of this world is modified and altered, the movement of time is also modified and altered for that person. Since time is one of the key components of our communal reality, and it moves slower in our dream, it can work as a trigger to experience hidden reality beyond our communal reality. And that is why it is easier to work on various spiritual faculties during the lucid dreaming, because during the lucid dreaming, one of the key components of communal reality, the flow of time, became modified and altered. And today, I will share one of the techniques of creating deviation of time. This technique requires hourglass. We are all familiar with hourglass. However, it can be used as a trigger for time deviation. What you need to do is, you place hourglass in front of you and start to concentrate on the movement of the sand inside hourglass. You need to maintain intense focus, so I suggest to start from 1 minute hourglass. You focus on the every little movement of the sand and nothing else. Your goal is to see more movement within a limited time of 1 minute. It takes a lot of practice, but with patience, you can see more and more movement of the sand within a limited time of 1 minute. And that means during that intense and laser sharp concentration on the sand, you experience less time than your normal consciousness. But maintain such laser sharp concentration is not easy, so it requires patience and practice. Now, when it became easy with 1 minute hourglass, then try it with a 2 minute hourglass. And when 2 minutes became easy, then move to 3 minutes hourglass. Keep repeating this all the way until you can do 10 minutes hourglass. By the way, I will post the link to a page where you can buy 6 hourglasses with different minutes for less than $7. It is the cheapest price for multiple hourglasses with different minutes. This practice can work as a trigger for deviation, which is directly related to synchronicity and development of magic and spiritual faculties. And the best time to do this practice is before going to bed. Also, this practice can be used as a preparation to have lucid dreaming. Since time moves slowly in our dream, slowing down the movement of time before go to bed can be work as a trigger for lucid dreaming. Like I said first, this deviation technique is more advanced and challenging than the one that I shared in my previous video. However, once you have mastered this technique, it will be a great benefit for spiritual faculty development. Thanks for listening and all the best.